Billboard Chris. You guys probably remember Billboard Chris. I interviewed him. We talked to him on this show a couple months ago. I want to say maybe 3-4 months ago. We talked to Billboard Chris. We did a long-form interview. It was before Billboard Chris had gained the prominence that he has now, but like his name suggests, Billboard Chris is the guy that goes around he stands outside sometimes hospitals that do transition surgeries, transgender surgeries. He stands outside gender clinics. He stands in political areas. So he stood outside the Supreme Court once. He goes to state capitals when the state legislatures are debating bills that would ban transgender surgeries or puberty blocking hormones or cross-sex hormones. And he went to the Trans Day of Visibility wearing a big sandwich board on the front. And his sandwich board usually says, men cannot be women. Sometimes it says a father is someone who protects their children from transgender ideology. He says the basic science. His billboard always has a text. It's not incendiary text. It's just text that makes a proposition, like puberty blocking drugs are dangerous for children. And he sparks conversations with people. We talked about this when I had him on the show. He talked about all the amazing conversations he's had with people who didn't know that the puberty blocking pharmaceutical drugs that the left presents as just being a pause on puberty are actually drugs that are not FDA approved for young children, not FDA approved for gender dysphoria. And they're actually the same drug that's used to chemically castrate convicted sex offenders in some states. People don't know that, and he's sparked amazing conversations with people. He's also been met with violent transgender activists, as he was this weekend when he went to Canada's. He's from Canada, by the way, although he travels to the United States as well. When he went to Canada's Trans Day of Visibility rally, he stood on the outskirts of this rally. It looked like it was in a field, a park in the middle of the town. He wore his sandwich board, and he got violently assaulted twice. The first time he was violently assaulted, a radical transgender activist came up and punched him in the face and gave him a bloody nose. I will spare you that video because, there's blood. The second time he's assaulted by a man who identifies as a woman, but just wait till you hear this individual's voice and wait until you see the strength of this hulking man who is pretending that he is a woman. Take a look at this.
Why do you think they're getting that kind of representation? I mean, it's clearly was aggressive, violent assault.
You suck, you, you're not wanted, you're a f***ing idiot, you're a
I don't know what to say. These police officers are mostly indoctrinated as well. They're afraid of the mob.
Because you're a f***ing idiot.
They're afraid they do anything to keep law and order. They'll be the end of this abuse. So it's cowardice from everybody all around.
They'll probably want to. How do you keep your composure?
What?
How do you keep composure?
For those of you just listening to this now, the transgender activists are converging around Billboard Chris. He's wearing a sandwich board that says children cannot consent. They grabbed him by the throat and threw him to the ground. We bleeped it all out so you couldn't hear exactly what they were saying, but they're saying F you to him as they got right up in his face. He was doing a media interview. As you can see, his sandwich board says children cannot consent, meaning they cannot give their consent to hormonal transition and surgical transition. And that big hulking dude with the blonde hair and earrings and lipstick violently assaulted Billboard Chris. He texted me right after this happened because I'd sent him a text and I was like, are you okay? This looks pretty bad. I mean, he had a bloody nose first and he was like, yeah, I'm okay. But the police response to this, he said, was unreal. You could see in that video in the background, there were police standing by. And when I say standing by, I mean literally standing by. They had their hands in their pockets. They were just kind of observing what was going on. They could see that these radical, angry, hulking transgender activists were getting right up in Billboard Chris's face, but they didn't do anything about it. In fact, Billboard Chris was violently hurled to the ground before police did anything. And even then, they just handed the transgender activist back his purse. They did not arrest him. They did not question him. They did absolutely nothing about that.